Netflix is making its final plea to get Warner Brothers, but the rest of Hollywood saying, please, let's just go on to Paramount Skydance. We don't even care anymore that they're associated with the Orange Man. Today, we'll tell you what's going to go down and how fast it might go. Will the Warner Brothers Tower be owned by the Ellisons later this week? Hello, folks. Hello, friends. Welcome back yet again. It's a fun time every time we get to spend time with you. Do you have a hype button on YouTube? If you do, the time is ripe to hit the hype. And ladies and gentlemen, a like, a share, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let YouTube know this is the place to be. Let's talk about Warner Brothers. Let's talk about Netflix. Let's talk about what's going down and the tricks they might employ. It's their very last chance, a last gasp, if you will, trying to stop Skydance from stealing the WBD. Netflix is making its final plea for saving their Warner Brothers deal that was supposed to be done and is done no more. Dade Hayes, the author here out of Deadline. Netflix CEOs call Warner Brothers deal a win for the entertainment industry, but Wall Street is not convinced. In a memo to employees divulged this morning in an SEC filing, Netflix co-CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sarandos called their pending $83 billion acquisition of Warner Brothers, quote, a win for the entertainment business. Wall Street, however, is not entirely convinced. One new report Monday from MoffettNathanson's Robert Fishman urges the company not to take the bait if and when Paramount increases its hostile bid, which we all know has happened and will happen. Far better, Fishman argues, for the streaming giant is to bow out of the bidding war, which is to say, by the way, they don't think they should be in it in the first place. Put their heads down and continue to execute upon the strong hand they already have. Investors largely agree with that sentiment, with shares of Netflix slumping 10% since the company's formal proposal was announced, and even more than that since the company's interest in Warner first became known. The memo breaks no new ground and refers employees, talking about the Netflix memo, refers employees to the duo's appearance last week at the UBS Global Media and Communications Conference in New York for further information as to whether the deal will signal the end of Hollywood. Peters and Sarandos say they've been hearing that doomsday rap for more than a decade. Quote, we see this as a win for the entertainment industry, not the end of it, they wrote. This deal is about growth. Warner Brothers brings businesses and capabilities we don't have. So there's no overlap or studio closures. We're strengthening one of Hollywood's most iconic studios, supporting jobs and ensuring a healthy future for film and TV production. Now, Fishman goes on to say that the situation is stuck in limbo. Lou, I'm not sure I would go so far as to say that because, best as I can tell, what's really happening here is I don't see any chance for this to get past the feds. And I think it's been signaled about as strongly as they can to say this, even so far as the president declaring that they've got to take CNN if they do the deal, and Netflix doesn't want CNN. So that's the end of it, eh? Lou, am I missing something? What are we seeing here?
I don't think you're missing anything. Some of the people talking, you know who Mario Gabelli is? Very big investment guy, and he says he's leaning towards saying to Paramount, give me the money, here are my shares. So when people like that start expressing opinions, the wind begins to blow in a certain direction.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this is, you know, the article talks about when they increase the hostile bid offer. I don't think they have to. Why would they have to do that? Why would they have to go any farther than they already have there? I think they're already offering something better and something that actually could come true versus what we see from Netflix, which may not be able to even manifest itself.
Well, I don't think it's a financial statement as much as it is a reinforcement of their statement of intent that they're not going to let this go by if they raise it, which I believe they will a little bit, not much. I agree. The current deal is a great deal, but it's saying, yeah, okay, we'll raise it a little bit because we're going to do this. And anybody who thinks we haven't got it 100% in our sights, think again.
So
that gate brings back so many memories. Anyway.
Been there a few times, huh?
A few times. Used to park right across the street. Yeah.
Hey, Wizard, real quick. One of the things that's being pointed out now by the Ellisons over at Paramount Skydance is that if Netflix and Warner Brothers were to get together, well, it turns out that they would have something like 400 million total subscribers, doubling the next competitor on the list, which would be Disney, and that includes ESPN, Disney Plus, Hulu, etc. That seems to be one of those cases being made right now that, hey, they don't need to have that kind of power over streaming. plus pick up what up until Zootopia was the top box office revenue driver in theaters, Warner Brothers. They can't own both sides of it. That seems to be the argument from Paramount Skydance. What do you think, Wiz? Do we get an answer this week, maybe? Like, is that how close we are to having this thing finished?
I mean, I certainly hope we get an answer sometime this week. We've been talking about it here on this show for what feels like years, even though it's really only just been months, but that's still been a long time. This has been in the news cycle for a while. I hope we get an answer before the year is out, because also we won't get new content, or we won't get whatever the new phase of content is for years until even after this deal is done. I'm just excited for new stuff that's good. Like, I'm a fan. I just want good stuff. I don't necessarily care who makes it. I'm whether it's Netflix or Paramount's involved, it's going to be years before we get new stuff. So the sooner they make a deal, the sooner they're going to start production.
But, Wiz, the case and the reason that we keep doing this is because it really will determine where that good stuff goes. Does the good stuff go straight to your screen at home, or does the silver screen live on? That's the question here.
I think if Netflix gets a hold of everything, I don't trust them. I know Ted Sarandos and a lot of the people involved in Netflix, we keep hearing about how, oh, no, we're going to keep supporting movie theaters. Netflix's business has been the antithesis of that. And I can't see them having just acquired something to this extent, reneging on what their main business driver has been since inception, which is giving people a reason to watch at home. I don't see them caring about continuing everything in theaters. Also, when you think of, does Netflix really want to split the differences with the money that the theaters are going to be bringing in? I don't think so, especially when they're going to have billions and billions of dollars to have to make a profit on this investment. So no, I don't see it going forward.
To that point, because right now Netflix is trying to say to us, oh, no, we love theaters. We'll totally be partners with theaters. Oh, we will definitely put our Warner Brothers stuff in theaters. Guys, right now, theaters domestically have never been hurting as badly as they are. Right now. I mean, they can't get a win. Zootopia 2 is great in China, but here it's no record breaker, and Wicked is flatlined. So Netflix could come in and ride in and save the day for our beloved theaters and cinemas. Instead, they're saying, yeah, you can have the Stranger Things finale. Yeah, we'll give that to you. 500 total screens for 24 hours. The theaters want it on 4,000 screens for at least a week. Netflix says, no, we see that you're starving, so we'll give you a taste of what it would be like if we actually gave you nourishment.
And no way. You know what's even more important? You mentioned all those various events and movies. When Jim Cameron is saying, well, if this one doesn't go, I can always just sort of write a book about the finale of Avatar and not bother with the other two.
Yeah. Well, Jim,
when he's being realistic about the possibilities that franchise is dead and buried, you probably should listen to it because he knows best.
That's exactly right. Lauren, what are your thoughts on Netflix, Warner Brothers, Paramount? How close are we? And do you think that maybe by the end of the week, we get an answer on this thing? Will Netflix get tired of this, considering everything seems to be pushing against them?
I'm actually wondering if they're going to stretch it out to be on New Year's, just for the drama of it. I'm wondering if they don't want to give an answer before Christmas. I just wonder if that's going to ratchet up the drama and the bidding and the backroom deals that could potentially be made. I'm thinking regulators may be in no hurry to make any kind of decisions, and letting it percolate more may actually be better, though frustrating for everybody involved.
Well, but the investors don't have to wait.
No.
They can stand up tomorrow and say, okay, Paramount, give us the money and give us a favored nation deal where if you raise the bid, we still get that too.
They can, but that does also leave them open to another counterbid, and I think Netflix actually may want to do so. I'm curious to see just how far they're willing to gin this thing up.
Lou, what's your understanding of how this plays out in terms of, like, do the shareholders take a vote, or do they form blocks, or how does this play out for those who don't understand a hostile takeover?
If I own 10 shares or 10,000 or 10 million shares, and there's a deal out there from Paramount saying, we'll pay you X per share, I can make the deal tomorrow.
And are they allowed to join together?
Well, sure, but why would they? I mean, in other words, any one of them jumps, they're all going to jump because at some point, the people who invest in these big funds and these big organizations have to say, well, if they thought it was a good deal, why didn't you? And their own credibility goes on the line. Um, I don't think there's any other eventuality but the Paramount one that will actually take place because the Netflix deal, let us remember, is very dicey as far as regulatory approval. It's very dicey, not just because, oh, gee, Trump likes Paramount. It's dicey. Ah, there she is. It's dicey because theaters have employees and pay taxes. And so do the food courts and the malls where they are. And so do the businesses around them. And that's whether you're a red state, a blue state, a green state, a purple state, it doesn't matter. And that is how you get Donald Trump and Pocahontas on the same side of an issue.
You know, Lou, this is why I love having your expertise when it comes down to these things. Folks, we will pay attention. The thing that we're all going to be wondering about is what's in it for Netflix to drop out at this point? If they know they're not going to win, why not make their competitors suffer? Stick it out a little bit longer. Stick the fork in them and jab it around a little bit. Make them go higher.
Because they're going to make everybody awfully not willing to do business with them in the future.
Well, and that's what we learned, Lou. We learned Hollywood doesn't like Netflix. It's what we all of a sudden came out of the woodworks to say, we hate these guys.
They have already been not willing to do business with Netflix. That's why they started their own competing streamers. And look how that's working out for them.
Yeah, well, of course, Netflix's strength is even when they do acuities, even when they do some of these crazy things they've done, people are offended, but they say there's so much more there that I'm not going to quit over this one thing, as opposed to, for example, Disney Plus, where everything for a while was the one thing, and people said, I don't need this aggravation, goodbye. But will they drive harder bargains with Netflix? If Paramount adds the Warner Brothers streaming potential to Paramount Plus, it suddenly becomes a more serious player. And if they're willing to pay this money to make that happen, then they're also willing to pay competitively with Netflix for streaming rights to other studios' product. So wait a minute, maybe I'd rather have a subscription to Paramount Plus if they have all this stuff. Who knows?
Folks, we'll keep an eye on it. Could be this week we get an answer. If so, we'll be here to bring it your way. Often as we get ready to wrap these up, folks, you'll hear us say, keep learning, keep growing, keep having fun. And the reason we do it is because we appreciate you. It's true, we do. And we want you to have a good time. Thank you for giving us the great time of spending time with you. Folks, on the way out the door, consider clicking that like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell, and drop a comment down below because you matter. Your thoughts matter. Who cares what the legacy corporate deadbeat media tells you? You really are important. And we're a testament to that. We wouldn't be here without folks just like you. And since we've said it, we'll say it once more. Folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.